Hello, world. Welcome to Rex Arthur TV. This is the Rex Arthur Show where we discuss LGBTQ issues with an LGBTQ approach and an LGBTQ perspective in an LGBTQ plus planet where each and every one of us belongs to one letter in the or more. We'll talk about being in more than one letter in the sexual alphabet, and we'll talk about being in more than one letter in another video. Today, it's what I call the Rex Arthur Marathon, RAM, and this is where we do very many videos because sometimes I get a lot of ideas and they lead me to have enough videos in the day. So be prepared. So today we are discussing about my experiences. Of course, I used to say I'll always talk about my life experiences. There's a playlist. And I remember in the first videos we did, I explained to you how my life was. I used to be, how I was a Christian at first, then atheist. Then after that, I went back to faith, but now I'm an interfaith person, Christian centered, but interfaith, meaning I relate with all faiths and I believe all faiths are okay. Everyone is going to heaven because Jesus Christ died for everybody. Yes, even for those who don't love him, he died for them. And so they will go to heaven. Yes. That's the it's the truth because even that's what the Bible says. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus, every is every. And when I read the Bible, I'm very blessed by the words every and all. Yes, every knee shall bow, even those who hate him, they will bow down to him. So that's the understanding. So that's why I'm not worried about faith and oh, people are going to hell. No, he died for all, so all have to come back to him. And they come back in various ways. Some become Muslims and they are back to him. Others become. So just enjoy your life. Some of you are atheists. I mean, I'm not making you. Don't be atheist. Be continue in your atheism. Because Jesus is not, the problem with evangelical churches is that they insist on people getting saved. They're already saved. Everybody is saved. He did it for everybody. So, and then they make a mistake. They divide Jesus from God. And actually, Jesus is God. So, God gives everybody life. So that means Jesus is giving everybody life. That's why Jesus is Allah. Yes, Jesus is Allah. Because Allah is God. It's as simple as that. So these days, I'm not worried and I don't argue with atheists. In fact, atheists are my best friends because they value evidence. So I'm friends with everybody. Actually, these days I have no enemy. Yes, it's either you who hates me, but it's not me. I don't hate you. I know you have a different perspective of life. I can't change. And that's what I want to talk about today. My life is very interesting, especially psychologically and mentally, because I went through a lot of hard time because of my lifestyle, being gay. And sometimes you can have mental disturbances and mental disorders. Of course, even weird enough, when I started reading about mental disorders, I saw my life I really saw my life like that. Yes, I had, when I was reading through, because I take time, I read everything. I read everything I can understand. And I read on mental health. And I used to look at disorders and I was say, oh, that's what I used to have that one. Oh my God, I had that one. I had this one. I had that one. So, and when I was a kid, and I was very antisocial, even when I was a kid. In fact, that one is the one I remember very well. I was very antisocial, and it was because of my sexuality, because I didn't understand myself. And, when you don't understand yourself, there's a way you feel people won't understand you, and that's how they do. So people never used to spend time with me. So I used to be a loner, and I'm used to it. Even these days, if someone doesn't want to join up with me, I don't push up. I don't panic, you don't want to be with me. It's okay. Because I grew up with that mental frame. Now, why is it very important to know the mental frame of people? It's because your life shapes your mental frame. This is what we're telling people. Even pornography, it is very true to say pornography shapes your mental frame. Because pornography, they say it changes your brain. Yes, it's very true. Because sex is very physiological, it's biological, much as it is psychological. And for your information, psychology, this is going to sound a very philosophical, spiritual video, because psychology is in the middle of biology and parabiology or paranormality. What I mean by that is, when you study religions of the world, when you are, your psyche is not a terrestrial element or material. It is a celestial, it's an extraterrestrial material. That's what religions believe. Religions say that when you die, your terrestrial body remains here, but your celestial or extraterrestrial person leaves the body and goes to heaven. That's what religions believe. However, for atheists, they say, most atheists I know, even when I was in atheism, when you die, because what you're breathing in is not spirit, it is oxygen. It can be quantified in the laboratory. It's oxygen. And when you die, you die. Yes, that's atheism. And it also holds water. Because when you open, you see, even this whole idea of burying people, putting them in coffins, it really doesn't make sense. They are going to decompose. Yeah, I don't see the need of putting someone in a coffin, because he's going to decompose. But I think the reason why they put them in the coffin is so to avoid the smell of decomposition, and just to give them a good send off, just to make it look nice that someone is being sent away. But in essence, in the past, in very many African cultures, when you died, they just threw you in the forest. And this, I used to tell my friends that there are some areas in Africa that are very fertile. That's where they buried many people. They just threw them in the forest. And most forests are very fertile. So when you throw a body in the forest, you see people don't live in the forests. So because of the animals and everything. So what happens is the bodies decompose in the forest. Then the culture of burying people in coffins, especially in Africa, was brought by Egyptians. I mean, not Egyptians, sorry, by the whites who came. But ironically, the idea of burying persons in coffins is Egyptian, which is African. Because the mummies, when an Egyptian king died, they put them in the coffin called, they were mummified. And they were mummies, so they were put in the coffin. Now, why were they put in the coffin? Why were they embalmed? It's so that even if you study Egyptian burial rites, ancient Egyptian burial rites, they even used to do surgery to remove the heart, to remove the kidney, very important parts of the body, and they stored them in urns in the pyramid. But it was only the king who received a very good burial, because he was a demigod. Pharaoh, all of this, even Horus, Ra, and Isis, and Osiris, all of these gods of Egypt, they were actually human beings who were valued, and they had powers. So that's why they were given that respect. So even the Pharaoh was a demigod. And when that happened, they would bury them. And the belief was these people were going to go to heaven with their bodies. So in Egyptian thought, terrestrial, there's nothing like decomposition. according to Egyptians. Especially, I don't want to talk so authoritatively. I'm going to do the research and then talk about it in strength and power. Especially for the pharaoh and the pharaohness, if you call her that, the queen of Egypt. They would be taken, and that's why when the king died, or the pharaoh, they killed the slaves, because they believed the slaves had to go to heaven to serve the king together. So very many, we're going to do a lot study on that ancient Egyptian rites. But what I'm trying to say, it's so funny that it's the whites who came to Africa and taught us how to bury in coffins, when we in ancient Egypt were already doing that for the kings and the pharaoh. It's so weird. So when the Africans now learned how to bury people, that you put them in a coffin, then they started doing coffins and they stopped throwing people in the forest. So that's what happened in very many parts of Africa. And then now we bury, putting people in the coffin. So some people believe that, like atheists believe that, celestial, your spirit is just oxygen, is a mix of gases, and when you die, it's gone. So atheists believe that your brain and your mind is very physical, it's physiological. Even the dreams you have, and this is why I'm talking about this, when they have dreams, it's because of what you have stored in your brain during the day, or whatever you have stored in your brain, even if it's at night, whatever you store in your brain. So when you sleep, these neurons that store data, because we're also going to do in this Rex Arthur Marathon RAM, we're going to do a video. Data is everything. And data is everything. Yes, not that it's everything, it is everything. Even me, I'm data. This is data here. All of this is data. All data. That's Rex Arthur. Data. So, now the data, everything, I mean, because we go through the day and we see things and we read things and we listen to things, we form imaginations. Because when you sleep, your brain does not sleep fully. So this is why you find yourself doing activities, you can do activities even when you're sleeping, and you see yourself doing them. Do you know, I can even visualize right now as I'm talking to you. I'm visualizing myself walking down the road, going to see a friend. I'm visualizing I'm going to the road, I'm going to visit a friend. I'm visualizing I'm going on top, I'm going to write something. I'm writing a book right now. I'm telling you that I'm visualizing inside as I'm talking to you. So that's how dreaming is. But because I'm not sleeping, that visualization is not very strong, because my whole brain is now active. So the strength to show a vision is very weak. It's very weak. But if I sleep, all that I've stored in my head and all that I've sensed will come out, and I will dream about them. That's why dreams that's why people say dreams, you should make dreams come true. It's because they are not true. They are just what you've stored in your head coming back to you. That's all. So that's what happens. And that's why, like when you go to religion, Ezekiel had very many dreams of the temple. Why? He was a priest. And that's what happened. So now back to my life. So my life, because I have mixed with so much atheism, I've read a lot. Yes, I'm not. Is that's just the fact. I've read many things, or not read. There's reading a lot whereby you can just read one thing, one topic, nuclear science, and that's all you've read in your life, and you've not read any other thing. But I read small bits of very many things. And that's what people need to understand about data reception. When in law school, I had friends who used to read cases, the whole case. Yes, and there are different ways people read law. Some people read all the whole case. Others just read the summary. There's a summary of the case. Others just look for a principle. Others just, you see, so, and all of that is data acquisition. Now, the way someone has read a whole case, his understanding is different from the one who has just read a summary. And the way someone has just read a principle is different from the person who has read a summary. So what does this mean? Their understanding and their brain has different matter. So what does this mean? Even their dreams will be so different. They will be based on what the data they are putting inside. That's why I was saying, even with pornography, it changes your brain. Not that it really changes your brain, it makes you understand or fantasize, fantasize and bring your fantasies into reality. And pornography is not bad for information. It's very good. Why I like pornography, it teaches you how to have better sex. Yes. Because humans don't really like seeing themselves having sex. That's why not everybody watches porn. Yeah. And but it's good to watch porn because it improves it gives you imagination, oh, I can do this, so next time when I meet with my pal, I'm gonna do this to his body, I'm gonna do this to his ass. You rim the ass, or you suck the cock, and how you saw it, oh, this is how you suck it. Yeah, you see, so pornography is not bad, it's very good. And especially for adults, it's very good because adults can have sex. Yes, it's not good for kids, because kids, do you know you can even tempt kids to have sex with adults because of that? Yes, there are very many kids like that. That's why there's the war between the child sex abuse. But even there's really no war there, because even if a child wants to have sex with an adult, the adult is to tell the child, no, don't have sex with me. Yes, because even if you have sex with the child, you will be punished, not the child. Even if the child wanted to have sex with you, it's because he's a child. So that's why you have to look at it like that. So anyway, so because of the data I've been putting in my head, and I've put a lot of data. My brain is full of Bible. My brain is full of science. My brain is full of atheism. My brain is full of conspiracy theories. So I just it's what orders my life, you know. So that's why, you know why we don't have perfect harmony in the world, why we argue with people, why we don't understand each other. We have different data. Yes, we all have different data. So the way you understand somebody, and then that's why the perfect world is having somebody who has the same data like you. Yes, that's why it says birds of the same feather flock together. You spend time with people who have the same data. You enjoy yourself. This is why I feel more at peace in an LGBTQ church than in a straight church, because a straight church does not have the data I have compared to the data my friends in the LGBTQ church have. They have the same data. They like the same things. They watch the same things. They go to the same areas. They do the same. They party the same. They know the language. So we are all together. That's how it is. So the data is very important, because you will, even in networking, the world is one network, but and I'm still going to read about networking, because I'm now coming, those are the new things I'm reading now in spending my time these days. I want to really spend time reading IT, because it's the most important thing in the world. it has actually changed the world completely. Completely. I was even talking to somebody that the world has entered the age of IT. That's why we have gone to the Aquarian age. It is so, you can even hack yourself. I would encourage you to listen to Yuval Harari, the gay Israeli. Oh, he's so brilliant. And he has been talking about biohacking, that people are, we even soon will be able to hack animals. Yes, we'll be to understand the animal psychology. So we are living in a wonderful time. So I've been studying the networking and networks. You see, a country is a network. America is a network. Russia is a network. China is a network. And when you are a globalist, you want the whole world to be in one network, a global network. But because we have different codes and therefore different languages, we are not able to have a global network. Like those countries that speak English, they belong to one network. Those countries that speak Chinese, they belong to one network. Those countries which belong to the Russian, who know Russian, they belong to a Russian network. That's why if you know Russian, you're in the Russian network. If you know this language, you're in this network. Because you can understand the messages. But guess what? Do you know Google Translate and other translation apps have killed? You don't need to know a language. You just need to get the language written down or spoken, and you translate it through the translation app and you get the meaning. So the world, thanks to IT and AI, it's done. We are finished. The world is being reorganized to be, and everything is known about everybody. Everything. Everything. Biometrics. As long as you put your thumb somewhere, even if it's one place, it's done. The data is there. So let's just live. Be transparent. Be yourself. Do what you want. So I was not telling you my life because my head, inside my head. So my head has very many stories, very many things, very many theories, very many, a lot of data. Yes, I watch gay porn. I'm not ashamed to say it. It's gay art, very beautiful, and I love it. And I love male erotica. Yes, men are sexy. Yes, I love men's bodies. I love men with sexy bodies. I was even seeing a very interesting article of Poof Doof. You know, Poof Doof is the scandal that has happened. This media station there was a media company that told their journalists only take pictures of the best drag queens and the men with muscles. And for some people, they're feeling like that's wrong because you are body shaming and you're shaming the gays who could be in that area. And they may not be really muscled up or they may not be the best drag queens. So and to some extent, they are right to say that everybody should be given opportunity because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Some people don't like muscled up men. Yes. Others like fat men. Yes. Others like drag queens who are slim. Others like drag queens who are macho. Yes. So it's unfair to only pick so-called the best drag queens and the big muscled people and ignore the small muscled ones. They're, like me, I don't like very muscled men, you know, where the veins are popping out. No. But I like a well muscled man. Yes, I like that one. I can enjoy him. I can muscle worship him. He's okay. But there are others who like men who have thick veins, you know, they're jutting out and they're there are others who love such men. So it's okay. So what you do, you pick. So you cannot black out one man because you feel this other man is going to bring money. No. Show them all. So that is what they call the poof doof if you go to Twitter. So anyway, that's my, I'm just telling you my life, you know, I'm opening up to you my life, how I have so much data and every day I'm always putting, and guess what is also data? Food. Food is data. It's unbelievable. Food is data. What you eat is data. Why is it data? It's chemicals. It's going to be converted. The stomach is a computer. It knows what it wants, and then it throws away the data it doesn't need, because the body needs data to grow. Anyway, we'll do this when we do data is everything. Let's not talk about it now. So what am I trying to say? Now imagine being me, of which you can never be me. And I have all of this data in me, and I have all of these books inside me, and I have all these pictures inside me, and that's another thing that's happening in the social media age. It's that we are so crammed up with a lot of data. We sometimes there's need for detoxification, of which it's very hard, because life, some people work in offices whereby they have to use a computer. Then after they're using the computer, they're on Facebook. Then after Facebook, they're on WhatsApp. Next thing you know, they are sleeping. So all of that activity is, we are really using our brains more than ever. In the past, people never used to use phones. You know, they were not using phones. They were just, have you seen old rural films? People are just there chewing grass for 1 hour. Just there, looking at the world, looking at the goats. And that's all they were doing. But now we're all, then someone is calling you, oh, hi, okay, yeah. And then what are they saying? Okay, yeah, okay, fine. So we have become so multitask. The humans of today are not the same as the humans of the past. We are totally different because of technology. And we're getting more different than ever. That's why this is the age of cyborgs, whereby you're half human, half robot. Yes, that's where we're going. I remember seeing a black American woman, and she said she doesn't want to wear the prosthetics. She's happy the way she is. And I said, fine, that's you. But right now, understand, prosthetics are there. They are there to help you. If you really want to use hands, to have hands, then get a prosthetic arm. That's what I was telling. And this is what I tell black people. Most black people tend to be so anti-technology. They think it's bad. It's not bad. It's there to help you. I mean, how do you attack technology and you're using it? You're using Facebook to attack technology. You know, I used to have an atheist friend. He was so pissed with homophobes because they hate gay people. Yet, gay people are the ones who created IT. The father of computer science is Alan Turing, the most homosexual man ever in Britain. And even how, till today, Britain has to say sorry to him. Yes. And it's good, because they killed a man who was a homosexual. Even though he committed suicide, they chemically castrated him because of his homosexuality. He was too randy. So what? That's him. Yes, homosexual men are randy. They love having sex. That's a fact. Because heterosexuality, the reason why heterosexual men may not be as randy as homosexual men is because when they have sex, they don't have it unconsciously. They're not like animals. Animals have sex without consciousness. When the cock is randy, it will just jump on the hen. It will not even think about how many chicks do I have. Go and ask the cock. It will never tell you that I have sired 500 chicks. Never. The cock will just sires. It's because they are not using their brain. They don't even have, look at chicken brain, it's so small. How will they even think about family planning? But a human thinks about family planning. So that's what happens with heterosexual men. Some of them don't think about family planning, so they just have sex and they have babies. Yes. Others think about it. That's why there are countries which have very small populations and countries that have very large populations. It's because they have different data about reproduction. Some people are positive about reproduction, others are negative about reproduction, others don't even care about the consequences of reproducing. They will just have babies. So that's what people need to understand. You have to be very educated to understand yourself. So all of these data minds of people, that's what I tell you, like homosexuals. Now, homosexuals, when we have sex, it's not, we know there's no baby coming. People, that's why they think homosexuals are mad. Yeah, no, we are not mad. Gay people are not mad. They just have sex. They know they won't have a baby from that sex. So the mind of sex is for pleasure. That's all. It's not for getting babies. If you want to get a baby and you're homosexual, you know how to get it. You can get it heterosexually. You can get IVF. You can, and very soon, stem cell reproduction. You can adopt. There are many ways of having children these days. So if your problem is to have children, don't have gay sex. You go, and for information, not all women are fertile and not all men are fertile. That's what you also need to know. So it doesn't mean when you have sex you're going to get a kid. Wrong. Yes. So that's what we are saying. Homosexuals are homosexuals, heterosexuals are heterosexuals, bisexuals are bisexuals. So as I conclude this video, my understanding of life is that my life, I have a lot of data in me, and it gets more mixed up when I have mental disorders. Yes, when you have mental disorders, my friend, you will think anything. You will go crazy. This is why another science that is very important in the 21st century is mental health science or psychology and psychiatry, because the people, we are beginning to understand that mental health has an effect on very many things we do as human beings. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Imagine, I read law, I read all of these things, but imagine reading law and you have a mental disorder. You see? Yes. Imagine reading physics and you have a mental disorder. And remember, I've told you, even the foods you eat affect your brain. Yeah, like eating fish is very good for the brain. It has omega-3. Very beautiful. Oh my God, let's do the video of data. Let's finish here. Anyway, so that's where I am, and that's where all of us are. Just understand each and every one of us has a different, unique set of data. And that's what shapes your dreams. It's what shapes your mind. It's what shapes your thoughts. It's what shapes your consciousness. Yes, this is why I'm here doing LGBTQ activism. It's because I am LGBTQ. Yes. I am gay. I'm out. That's why I'm saying it. There are people who are closeted. They will never tell you their sexual orientation. And I respect them. Even though it's a bit hard when we are in forums, one is out and one is closeted. How do you even relate? Because being out is very, you can even die. Yes. Look at David Kato of Uganda. He was killed for being a gay activist. Yeah, so you have to be, and look at transgenders. Do you know why more transgenders die than any other sexual orientation? It's because they are the most visible sexual orientation, the most visible queer sexual orientation. You can't know a lesbian just by seeing a woman. You can't know a gay man just by seeing a man. You can't know a bisexual person just by seeing them. But you can tell who is a transgender very slowly. When you listen to them, and then you now inquire what body part they have. Even intersex, it's very hard to know an intersex. Very. But some of them you can know because of their physical properties. And we're going to talk about that in another video. All right, guys. So that's what you need to understand about the world called the brain. My world called the brain has different data from you. And my job is to teach people so that they can have the same data I have. That's why there's schools. Schools are there to give people the same data. That's why it's an education system. You educate people. And religion is also an education system. Yes, Christianity is an education system whereby you teach people the God to worship is Jesus Christ. And Islam, the God to worship is Allah. And his only prophet is Muhammad. Don't be told any other prophet. So this is what interfaith people need to understand, that all religions are education systems. They are data inseminators. And then every denomination has data it's inseminating. And it's the teacher, the job of the teacher is to create himself, is reproduction. Yes, a teacher is just a parent. He's a academic parent or a wisdom parent. He gives information to somebody who is not his biological child, but receives instruction or receives data from him. So he's like a father. He provides the children with food called doctrine, called teaching. So this is why I always tell the LGBT community, we need to have enough education about ourselves so that we are not attacked by the heteronormative or heterosexual community that doesn't understand us, because they are in their own education system. And we have already done it, and we are doing it. Now you have LGBTQ channels like mine and very many others. They are there, and the data is being released. So carry on. Let's get more data in us, and data that helps and builds us. We are going to talk about that